Okay, well there it is, folks. I finally got my RT-2 Tonewheel generator back together. Wow, what an adventure that was, taking it apart and changing some bearing plates and putting it all back together. One thing I discovered when I got it back together is I had a half a dozen cells, half a dozen bins where the output was a lot lower. It was low enough below like 2 millivolts to where my meter wouldn't even read it. I could barely hear it on this little amplified speaker, but so I went in and remember, all these pole pieces are frozen in place with corrosion, so I identified the ones that needed more output and heated them up with my little handy torch and a little persuasion with the brass hammer. Tapped those puppies in just a little bit closer to the tone wheels until I got at least 2 millivolts of output out of those, and then tighten the set screws back down. So I've got decent output, I think, on every single terminal now, and I fixed my bad bearing situation that I had, and so that's pretty much it. Here, let me see if I can come around here. I'll see if I can get it to start up. And with my little three-way switch, you don't really need the resistor to start these things up. Just a three-way light switch. Well, there you go. It sounds pretty good to me, and you can listen to the outputs a little bit with this little Radio Shack amplified speaker. So I think that's ready to go back into the console, and then I've got a little work to do on the manuals. I had been enjoying the console, playing it and doing some recording actually when this thing quit working on me, and I've noticed playing it some that there's a few key combs that need to be spread out a little bit, because I've got a couple of keys that are actually clicking together when you play them. So while I've got this thing apart, I may as well fix a couple of those key comb issues. But anyway, hopefully these videos and commentary have been helpful. I wouldn't recommend taking one of these apart unless you absolutely have to. I probably could have looked around for a replacement generator, an exact replacement, but who knows? You know, I get a replacement and get it in there and then find out it's got some problems. So this one I just decided I knew what it was, what was wrong with it, so I just went ahead and fixed it. And the worst part, I would say, is taking that filter tray off and the terminal strip and all of that, all that soldering and unsoldering. And the problem I ran into putting it back together is these yellow wires, which run from the pickups up to these capacitors. These things are just barely long enough to fit now. And boy, I sure didn't want to get into splicing all those wires to make them longer, so I was able to make them fit. So, hope this helped.